Hey all, here are OS Reviews. Today we're taking a quick look at the Oleap Pilots. These are a very unique pair of bone conduction style wireless headphones that's also aimed for conferencing and communication because they have this extendable boom mic and also a mute functionality, plus the microphones on here claim to deliver up to 50 decibels of ambient noise reduction, so they should be excellent even if you're in a coffee shop or if there's a bit of background chatter around you, especially in many business and tech related fields. So having something like a good headset to, again, isolate only your own voice and reduce everything around you while still being able to have a little bit of awareness of what's going on, hence that bone conduction style, which is not completely blocking your ears, I think is a pretty clever idea. So this will be going on crowdfunding for around $80 via Kickstarter, not bad. Some other specs here include large 60mm drivers, battery life is rated at around 10 hours of continuous music listening, also pretty good for these bone conduction style headphones, although a little bit shorter compared to wireless TWS buds because it doesn't have a battery case of its own, and weighs 33 grams, which is pretty lightweight. Now, aside from Bluetooth, it does also have a USB dongle mode because of the conference categorization, so you can plug this into a computer. Really, aside from the headset itself, we also have access to another little compartment which features a separate stand which you can use to charge it when you are at home, for instance, enjoy your meeting anywhere. Innovation for better communication, and the door here actually opens like this, so it slides out in a pretty dramatic fashion, and in here we have this fabric case that is included, kind of a unique triangular wedge that is housing and protecting the headphones when you're on the go. Then underneath here we have just a quick user guide along with some of the extra accessories. The USB adapter if you want to pair this with computers, laptops that doesn't have, let's say, built-in Bluetooth, and you also get the charging cable using just the standard USB Type-C. So a closer look at this inner case, it's also magnetic, can fold open, and then we have just the pilots themselves here right on top with also a quick user guide that is even in this unique translucent printout. It's basically just reiterating the controls. And for the actual headphones, they are pretty stylish as well, especially with that mute key, which is this vibrant orange. Everything is flexible and will give you a pretty nice fit despite not actually inserting into your ears. So otherwise, here we have the microphone rotatable up to 270 degrees, as you can see there, which is very flexible, although the arm itself doesn't actually bend. So it's actually just the portion here that can rotate, but still works quite well, uses 3 microphones to pick up your voice. And otherwise, on the side here is where we have all the controls, including volume up and volume down, very tactile, and in the middle there is actually the power key. Perhaps this is purposeful, just so that you don't accidentally trigger that button when you're not really trying to press it, but I do find this middle key to be substantially not as tactile or clicky as the other 2 buttons, which have this audible sound, but on here, you can hear how it's almost a little bit more mushy by contrast, but it still works, again, just by long holding for a few seconds there to turn it on and enter the pairing mode. Otherwise, again, very simple, straightforward design. So that bit of transparency, I think, is one of the more interesting aspects of these bone conduction headphones in general, but it's not going to be for everyone, although if you do want something that gets you more of that spatial awareness, that is where something like this will shine. Finally, here is what it looks like on the back with that USB Type-C charging port. And here's what it looks like once popped onto the dock. So it does have a pretty nice fit, although it doesn't really stand upright, it still lies flat, but overall it definitely gives it a more professional look. Maybe the only thing I would like to see would be possibly adding a battery inside of this dock, so you can also use it as a power bank when needed, but you can always use your own because this is just using Type-C. Moving into performance, again, the call quality, the microphone quality is going to be the most important selling point here, and luckily it does actually sound pretty impressive. So here's a quick demo. Alright, so now I'm going to try to record a test of this microphone. How do I sound? 1, 2, 3. I'm going to actually snap a little bit there in the background. Does it still pick up that voice? A little bit of rattling and external noise while I'm talking. Is it still going to sound clean? So in terms of that test there, I was actually trying to snap as well as rattle on the tables and also on the tripod, but it seems like the rattling part was pretty much 100% mitigated by the noise cancellation. The snapping, you can still hear a little bit of that creep in, so I think higher frequency sounds can still sometimes sneak into the recording, but overall doing very well, especially considering that all of that processing is happening directly on this guy here. So here's the equivalent recording using the phone's microphone. Now here is the equivalent test using the phone's microphone. How do I sound?
this is what it...
So that is kind of the sound of, again, the tripod rattling there. Now, a few remarks, though, is the phone's mic definitely sounds a little bit more crisp in terms of my voice, sounds a little bit more clear to me, so I think using the noise reduction algorithm, it's adding a little bit more of that dampening filter over it. It's not bad. I can still 100% hear what I'm trying to say, and no issues in terms of making out and having an accurate communication, but I do want to point that out. So that means this is going to work best for speech and just talking. When it comes to audio quality and performance, overall the sound that you're hearing is also about average, I'd say, compared to other bone conduction style headphones. We happen to just review another pair from Halo/Xiaomi. It was their B01s. These are, I would say, right on par. They are clean sounding, especially for vocals and mids and trebles, which I think is the most important part here because, again, they're aimed for communications, so at least when you're having a call, things like that, it does sound very good in terms of no distortion, no static, nothing like that. With that being said, it doesn't have a lot of bass, which is expected from something like this because you're not getting the tightest of seals, since it's not actually physically extending into your ear canals, rather it's resting on the outside, and you're just getting some of that vibration. So if you are really a bass head, this type of design in general will never get you quite as much satisfying depth in terms of the lower frequencies, but mids and trebles are surprisingly clear, as well as having very good comfort. I never felt like I was too tired wearing these for a few hours thanks to that neckband, which is supporting part of the weight. Now, same remarks in terms of other bone conduction headphones, being that if you are listening super closely, you can still technically hear a little bit of that sound come out, especially if you set it onto a table. It kind of rattles a little bit more. So noise isolation is also not going to be as high as a traditional in-ear design. But like I've touched on previously, unless someone is really listening hard close to you in a room where there is no other noises, it's still going to be pretty discreet in the sense that if you're on a subway, if you're anywhere that has a bit of background chatter, it doesn't become too distracting, and it's not like you're blasting out music either. So that's more or less it as far as our hands-on review of the Oleap Pilot. Again, the bone conduction style isn't anything new. However, I do really like the fact that this has this boom mic and it's geared more towards communications. That's what makes this pair special. You can check out more details if interested in the links down below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.